Dwarven Depths, developed by Moonroof Studios, is a simple game with a few different goals, game modes, and some multiplayer abilities. You play as a miner who digs underground to try to find gold, gems, and destroy monsters during your adventure. It's a game with the classic 8-bit style that's making a comeback in today's gaming culture, but does this title do justice to that retro feel? The use of old-style 8 or 16-bit graphics has had a huge revitalization in recent years, mainly within the indie genre, and this game is no different. The miner, the enemies, and the dirt you dig through are all built within an 8-bit square. It's reminiscent of Dig Dug in how that game looks and even feels, but gives its own vibe that you're not soon to forget. The levels vary from minuscule to deeply engulfing, and with each level being randomized, it makes for some interesting graphical showcases. Having multiple enemies swarming an area gives you warning enough to avoid, but the shiny gems within that same area makes you question your chances of survival in the name of riches. A 7.75. The core elements of Dwarven Depths are the different devices, materials, and equipment that you possess and have at your disposal. Drills, ropes, and other means of obtaining the coins and gems in the caverns help you not only dive deeper into the levels, but help pull you out of hectic situations. The enemies, while entertaining, can be pretty stale. Jumping creatures tend to always follow random paths and don't really seem to threaten the player. Walking creatures don't follow any kind of pattern other than just keep walking until they hit a wall and then turn around and keep walking again. The only true problematic creature are the bats. These enemies will follow your character wherever you go and make sure that they don't get in the way of your sword for too long. The combat is slow and doesn't seem to do a whole lot to help the title. Using the sword you're equipped with takes a long time in between each attack to be ready to use again. This results in bad experiences when multiple enemies are around. Swinging at an enemy only to wait a long time to swing again usually ends in death or close enough that you feel compelled to go back to the surface to bank whatever money you've obtained before you die, because once you're dead, all the money you've obtained falls off your person and is left at the place of the character's death. The other aspect of the gameplay is using traps, but these only seem to help the most within multiplayer matches between human players, whether it be in arena mode or idol mode, which pits players against each other to recover a golden idol and be the first to bring it back to the surface. Overall, the variety is there, but not exactly in a way that makes it as compelling as it could have been. An 8. The soundtrack consists of one song during the title screen and one song during the gameplay of any type. Using different instruments such as trumpets, pianos, and a plethora of crash cymbals, the music has a sense of urgency in that it keeps you hurrying forward to get as much done as possible within a short time. As your time limit gets closer to 0, the music changes appropriately to emphasize that there isn't much time left to recover gems and gold. While it's only one song, it does its role and brings a certain atmosphere to each game. An 8. Making a game that's about digging feel fun enough to keep playing is a tough ordeal, but Dig Dug did it and Dwarven Depths has its moments. While it may not be much for a single player experience, it does seem to hold some appeal to the idea of a multiplayer party game. Having friends try to recover as much gold as possible or trying to defeat swarms of enemies underground can have its own rewards. It's not the most replayable game on the market, but it's solid enough to warrant some playthroughs with friends. A 7.5. So now let's recap and take a look at the pros and cons for Dwarven Depths. The pros are that it has a clean retro look, it has appropriate music, and it's a great game for friends. The cons are that the controls can be very slow, it doesn't have a lot of variety, and it's not extremely replayable. Dwarven Depths is not a horrible game, but it won't be winning any awards either. It's a mediocre title with an interesting idea that could use a little more polish. With a slow combat system and small variety within the different modes, it's hard to see this as a game that people will be coming back to in the next year. But as a quick game between siblings or friends while chilling on the dashboard, it's not a bad title just to have for those kind of moments. And the music is certainly worth listening to. Dwarven Depths gets an overall 7.8. For more information on indie reviews, previews, interviews, and other information, head on over to either VVGTV.com or Indienerds.com.